What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the stimulus package update, pretty much everything going on here in our country, Washington, D.C., money, investing, the stock market, everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Remember that new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. It's being reported that the vaccine's mix and match approach, where you might be able to, in the future, get different vaccines. For example, if you got the Pfizer shot, you now might be able to get a Moderna shot, a second shot, or a booster shot in the future. This may actually get FDA clearance after Dr. Fauci actually gave a positive kind of wording on it here within the last few days. This would be positive for a lot of people that have gotten shots in the past before they really knew a lot about the effectiveness rate of each particular shot. And this may actually get FDA clearance here in the next upcoming days. Check this out. Pfizer is also expecting the FDA to approve the virus shot for kids here in the next upcoming days. And the U.S. Food and Drug Administration is poised to clear the use of the virus booster from a different manufacturer than the one that supplied a patient's original inoculation, according to people familiar with the matter. The FDA is still considering the scope of the measure, including whether to allow the widespread mixing and matching of different vaccines. So they are expected to get clearance on this here in the next few days. I will keep you up to date on this. Let me know your thoughts on this if you got the Pfizer or the Moderna. There has been some studies that have shown, for example, that the Moderna shot has been a little bit more effective versus the Delta variant. So I know that some people, might want to change. Or, for example, if you got the Johnson & Johnson one-shot booster or one-shot original shot, you may have wanted to change or something along those lines. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Would you want to get or would you want to mix and match? So yeah, they also say that as of about a month ago, September 24th, 75% of eligible Americans have now gotten vaccinated with at least one shot. So 75% seems pretty high. Seems like a lot. So, but yet still 25% is still millions of Americans. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Scientists are also closely tracking a new variant spreading in the United Kingdom that could be 10% more infectious than the Delta variant. And that's the worst thing about the Delta variant, or at least in my opinion, is because how easily it spreads, how infectious this is. And this one could be 10% more infectious than the Delta variant. England's Public Health Authority said in a report on Friday that it was monitoring a subtype of the Delta variant called the AY42 variant, which had infected more people recently. Francis Ballou, the director of the University College London Genetics Institute, tweeted on Saturday that data about the AY42 suggested that it could be 10% more transmissible than the most common Delta variant in the UK. And, quote, as such, it feels worthwhile keeping an eye on it. Yeah, so that could be bad news. Chief investment officer of a global investment firm says that stimulus money, if it doesn't get passed by November, could cause the stock market to plunge by 15% in November because the markets are kind of on a high from stimulus money and the Fed's stimulus money as they continue to buy bonds at record paces and to kind of pump money into the financial markets, which is kind of a different type of stimulus money than we talk a lot about, where the Fed continues to buy bonds to help prop up the bond market. And here's what he has to say. Scott Minerd, Global Chief Investment Officer for financial firm Guggenheim, predicts that the stock market could drop 15% by November, according to a report by Business Insider. He blames the economic stimulus, noting that the central banks have no exit plan but to continue more stimulus. He says, quote, "For the time being, we're addicted to this," he said earlier this week. He explained that the central banks have lent $2.3 trillion in much needed support for local businesses, households, financial markets, and state and local governments during the pandemic. However, now the central banks are in the positions of running the markets, he said, without a clear exit strategy to withdraw stimulus. There's also the concern of inflation, he said, along with investment experts have warned against the Fed overstimulating the economy. The Fed is likely to begin tapering bond purchases in December, according to Business Insider. A formal announcement may come in November's Fed market meeting. Meanwhile, stock markets just continue to hit an all-time high. The Dow Jones hits another intraday all-time high, up 124 points at this point of this recording at 35,581 points. So stock markets continue to hit another all-time highs as the debt limit has been raised temporarily, and they don't need to worry about a default until a little bit over a month from now. So stocks continue to hit new highs for the time being. A new report that came out today shows that in 2020, the poverty rate declined a little bit because of stimulus and actually during the pandemic. So, and the reason for this, and the only reason for this, in this particular type of study that they did, was because of stimulus and unemployment stimulus. So then unemployment bonuses. And if it weren't for stimulus and unemployment bonuses, that the poverty rate would have been much, much worse. And as you can see from this headline here, that it makes the case for ongoing stimulus aid to continue because it dramatically helped the poverty rate be not nearly as bad as it would have been if they wouldn't have had multiple stimulus checks and unemployment bonuses. And remember, last year, they actually had unemployment bonuses as high as $600 per week underneath former President Donald Trump, and then $300 per week. And then he also had those executive orders where he did that executive order for $300 per week unemployment. And in some cases, it was $400 per week if the state wanted to kick in an extra $100. So it was $300 per week or $400 per week of an executive order from the former President Donald Trump. So, yeah, and it was very, very shocking to say that a president could do an executive order for stimulus checks. In this case, it was stimulus checks to unemployed people or enhanced unemployment bonuses. And that dramatically helped out millions and millions of unemployed workers during the pandemic last year through an executive order. And a lot of people say that if you can do an executive order for that type of stimulus check that could target, in this case, unemployed people, you could do a stimulus check to target other type of people, whether it's unemployed people, low income people, social security people, any type of people, because the precedent has been set now. So if former President Donald Trump could do an executive order and target millions of people and just give them weekly checks of $300 per week or $400 per week, it was for 6 weeks. So it was literally a check for $1,800 to $2,400, depending on their state. Some states kicked in an extra $100 to make them $400 per week. Some states said, nah, we don't have any money. We can't do that. So some people got a total of $1,800. Some people got $2,400. But literally an executive order just gave people $1,800 to $2,400. So that kind of sets the precedence that an executive order can give people stimulus checks. So unemployment bonus checks, whatever you want to call them, right? I mean, a lot of people get caught up in the details. It's a stimulus check. It's not. It's an unemployment bonus check. Doesn't really matter what you want to call them, right? It was a check from the government that went into your bank account. So they could call it whatever they want to call it, right? It's a check that went to the person. So that does kind of set the precedence that it was done in the past and it could be done again in the future. So just keep that in mind that that can be done again in the future. There was the question on, because again, it's always Republican versus Democrat, Democrat versus Republican. And I remember reporting this to you guys last year that the Democrats could challenge that in a court of law. But I remember saying to you is that I don't think the Democrats are going to do that. If the Democrats do that, I think they're going to have a lot of egg on their face. They'll look terrible if the Democrats do that, to say that they're going to try to prevent millions and millions of people from getting uh, a bonus check or stimulus check or unemployment check, and they didn't challenge it. So I didn't think they were going to, and they didn't. So yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that again sometime in the future, but not necessarily for unemployment money. It could be for any type of stimulus type check. It could be for low income, it could be for seniors, it could be just for regular stimulus checks, it could be for anything, because they could target it any type of way they want. The precedent has now already been set. A president has already done it. So, and if it's already been done, again, they can always challenge something in the court of law, but it kind of really makes the other party look really, really bad if they do that. So, and remember, the Democrats chose to not even do that. But you could let me know your thoughts in the comments. But the Democrats didn't even chose to do that because can you imagine how bad that would have made them look? So the White House says, the Biden administration says that the window for closing this package is closing, and they're getting very, very close to closing the package. They're closing out a lot of details on this package. And in fact, President Biden says that the deal is actually getting closer to $2 trillion now. I think that they're just trying to close the deal, get it done. And President Biden says there will be another stimulus package, not again after this. So I think that they're just going to try to agree on what they have agreed on, get the deal done now, and then they'll come back later, was kind of the words he said, with another package later on. So they're just going to try to get what they have agreed on, get it done, get it closed, get whatever they agree on out the door to the people. And then they will come back for the other package later on, another stimulus package later on. And now that they're going to be somewhere around maybe 2 trillion. In fact, you can actually see here in this wording right here, during meetings with congressional Democrats on Tuesday, President Joe Biden apparently, this is not like this is from a source, floated a 1.75 trillion to 1.9 trillion dollar price tag to the legislation, a source told CNBC. I'd be surprised if he went that low, because a lot of Democrats want it to be higher. I don't even know if Joe Manchin wants it to be that low, but here it is, according to a source told CNBC. But here's the bigger headline: Democrats set to cut free community college. That's a big one. That's a big one. So the free community college, 2 years of free community college, may be cut from this program for now. Because again, the big thing is that they may have to make this package 2 trillion or a little bit less than 2 trillion even maybe, and then come later on for the next package to see what they can put in this package, agree what they can get on now to maybe 2 trillion or maybe even a little bit less than 2 trillion, and then later on see what they can fit in the next package. So maybe the 2 years of free community college may have to be cut from this package, at least according to this headline. I do want to say that nothing is set in stone. I know this will disappoint millions and millions of people, but there are going to be a lot of things that are going to have to be cut, as well as a lot of climate programs are being cut from the economic plan as they have to trim the price tag. During a series of meetings with Democratic lawmakers on Tuesday, President Joe Biden floated a 1.75 trillion to 1.9 trillion dollar price tag for his proposal to expand the social safety net, which is the stimulus package, and curb climate change, a source told CNBC. As the party tries to cut back its initial $3.5 trillion plan, that would mean it would be almost cut to half. Democrats are set to remove a provision that would offer 2 years of free community college. Pramila Jayapal says it looks like that's going to be cut out after a meeting with the president. So for now, It looks like that might be gone. Maybe they'll come to pick it up in the next stimulus package. I know a lot of people will be gravely upset about that because college is extremely expensive and a lot of people just cannot afford to go to college at all. Free community college is expected to join at least one other policy on the chopping block, a $150 billion program to encourage utility companies to switch to renewable energy. Gone. Done. $150 billion, gone. Democrats will likely drop the plan due to opposition from Senator Joe Manchin, a conservative West Virginia Democrat who represents a coal producing state and has a personal financial stake in the industry. Imagine that. The party will also consider extending the child tax credit for only 1 year. Only 1 year. Yeah, very big news coming out here since late last night. Many Democrats had pushed to keep the policy in place for up to 5 years or even make it permanent. Yeah. Yeah, so apparently a lot of Democrats are not really happy about extending the child tax credit for only 1 year. The problem with this is that if they're not able to pass it again in the next stimulus package, that would go past the midterm elections, where if they lose the House or Senate, then they might not be able to extend it again if they have to agree with Republicans, if the Republicans win one or both the House and the Senate. Now, remember, this is a big part of the Democrats' agenda. These monthly stimulus checks that were passed from the third stimulus check package, $250 to $300 per month, go out to 65 million children. Senator Joe Manchin has had a lot to talk about with that lately. He wants to put an income requirement on these monthly checks to children, the child tax credits. He wants to, yeah, the income requirement, which could potentially if you're a married filing jointly couple, it could require both of the married couples or both people in the married couple. Yeah. So if you're a mother and a father, you're married, it might require both of them to work. New information coming out here in the last 24 hours as people are trying to figure out his demands. That if you're married filing jointly, and just as an example, if the father goes to work and the mother stays at home and watches the kids, several kids, you might not qualify for the child tax credits with that. Yeah. Also, any grandmas or grandpas on Social Security would not get the child tax credits because Social Security does not count as earned income. Millions of grandmas and grandpas would no longer get the child tax credits to help them support the children. Yeah, as well as anybody on SSI, SSDI, any stay-at-home moms would no longer get this. It would literally cut out millions of people from getting these monthly checks, as well as he wants to put a $60,000 income cap for a family. So for mom and dad, that's only $30,000 each, which is well below the average income right now. We looked up the average income. It was like $50,000 some a person right now. So this would cut out literally millions and millions of people with all these different restrictions that Senator Joe Manchin wants to put. He's the only Democrat that wants to put this restriction in here. So, and now there is talk about only extending them for just 1 year. The other thing, though, is that, and I'm just talking out loud here, is that all these other kind of things do free up a lot of room to potentially have other things in there, like a forced stimulus check for adults that they could include there as well. So just kicking that idea around there. So they could include a forced stimulus check in there for adults for as low as $100 billion. So that would be less than 5% of the package at $2 trillion. So there is expected to be an adult tax credit in there as well, an earned income tax credit for people that make under $50,000. So we'll have to see how that goes as well also. So I will keep you up to date. There's a lot going on here. They're trying to close this package out here literally within like the next week or so before the end of the month. So make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. It's free to do so. New videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m. 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And here is how they're trying to add $1,400 to $2,000 stimulus checks into the next stimulus package. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.